Labels. Why? I mean labels in clothes. They're driving me nuts. The itching, everything. Why do they put such horrible itchy labels in? Why do they put labels in clothes at all? Yeah, this heat's probably not helping. I love the heat, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't make me more itchy, and yeah, I'm just feel like I'm constantly having to remove labels from clothing, and then there's no easy way to remove a label. You remove a label and it leaves a great gaping hole that I have to sew up, and then I never get round to sewing it up, so I just go around and then I'm like, oh, there's a hole in my clothes because there was a label there that I needed to remove. And yeah, labels. Also, on the subject of neurodivergence, because it's a well-known thing with especially autism, I think, the labels thing, I've always had it since I was a kid, especially labels in underwear. I've always worn women's underwear. I identify as a woman and wear women's underwear. Hopefully that's not TMI, but too late now. The labels, like, why? Just, they're the worst. Anyway, labels and neurodivergence. Been a few questions recently, or just things coming up about, I'm an adult, my autism diagnosis, I got that in 2024, December 2024, age 39. And the question is really like, is a label helpful in neurodivergence? I think the answer is yes. It probably depends. For me, it's definitely a yes. I think that having that understanding, also the possibility of seeking support, means that getting a diagnosis and being able to move forwards, learning about what that means for you, having some access to support. There's a few things that perhaps I would be best off sort of looking at in other videos, other posts and things, but off the top of my head, I'm thinking where I've had issues in employment and lost jobs. Perhaps if I'd had the diagnosis, that would have been helpful. I'm still going through the process of the ADHD diagnosis, so I strongly suspect that I am ADHD. So having autism and ADHD combined means that it's something different, and I'm not going to go into exactly what it is. There's plenty of people who are much more qualified to speak about that than I am. But the understanding that I have, I think that probably is what it is. So situations like employment, if I'd had the diagnosis, I may have had not necessarily better access to support, or maybe I would have. I think it would have made a difference whether I think I was discriminated against, and I don't think that the employers would have got away with it if I had the diagnosis. That's quite a big thing to put out there, I know. I'm being honest, I'm being authentic. I know that I am not the only neurodivergent person to have such an experience. I think it's important to get it out there. I'm not going to go into all the personal details of it. I will just say that I have experienced that on more than one occasion. The other side for me with getting the labels is accessing psychological support. I have been through NHS and private talking mental health therapies for years and years. I have had a diagnosis of anxiety and depression since I was in my late teens, early 20s. And I managed to record the time of my appointment wrong. So while I was filming that, I got a phone call saying, well, asking where I was. I'd put the appointment down for 30 minutes later than it actually was. So I did the same thing last week, not missing, but yeah, I was late for an appointment because I don't know what is going on with my brain. I'd put the appointment in the diary, I just put it in for the wrong time. Anyway, I think I pretty much got out most of what I wanted to say. I don't really have the capacity to elaborate on it right now, so I'll probably come back to it at some point. But yeah, today's subject, labels of both varieties, both relating to neurodivergence. Thank you for listening.